Hey, it's Patricia Murphy. It's Wednesday. This is Seattle Now. Well, that was anticlimactic. Not bad, just anticlimactic. Despite failing both the governor's metrics, Seattle is staying put in Phase 3. UW epidemiologist Judith Malmgren is here to help us wade through it. But first, let's get you caught up. Yes, Governor Inslee is pressing pause.
The most recent data that has come in just in the last few days, including what DOH has observed over the weekend, shows a potential plateauing of the COVID activity in the state of Washington, which obviously is good news.
13 counties, including King County, looked like they'd be taking a step back under the governor's reopening plan. Instead, Inslee said yesterday he'll keep an eye on the trends and let us know in another 2 weeks. We should learn more from state health officials at a briefing later today. A Seattle deputy mayor is the latest candidate to join the race to replace Mayor Durkin. Casey Sixkiller has led the mayor's efforts on homelessness and called the condition of the city's streets and parks unacceptable when announcing his candidacy. That makes more than 15 candidates running for mayor now. We could get a few more before the May 21st filing deadline. And 2 union PCC workers have won seats on the co-op's board of directors. Donna Rasmussen and Lorraine McIntyre didn't have the recommendation of upper management, and they say they had security called on them while gathering signatures outside stores to get on the ballot. They'll be the first workers in more than 2 decades to sit on the board. In a statement announcing the election results, PCC congratulated Rasmussen and McIntyre and said, "Democracy is the bedrock of our success." After worries that King County would be knocked back to Phase 2, we're hitting pause. That's despite the fact that cases have risen here, past the threshold to move back. Meanwhile, vaccinations are continuing, although at a slower pace than in previous weeks. Are we ever going to reach herd immunity? Who knows? Judith Malmgren is here. She's an epidemiologist at the University of Washington. Hey, Judith, great to talk to you.
Well, it's lovely talking to you, Patricia.
We have been preparing for this for a week. Seattle, we're heading back to Phase 2. Cases and hospitalizations were going up. Instead, from the governor, we hear we're pausing for 2 weeks. Does that make sense based on what you're seeing?
Not really. No. I would have to say no. We're in our 4th wave. It's a kind of a slower wave, but it's a wave nonetheless. And I've been reviewing the data by age, and it's going up in all age groups statewide. I'm not talking county by county because I haven't done those numbers. So we kind of have the same problem we've had all along, maybe a little bit more with the 20 to 34-year-olds leading the increase in cases as per usual, as we've had with every peak in Washington state. We are basically living in an experiment, in a human experiment. We know that Phase 2 worked, and it brought cases down pretty neatly, even though we did have problems when we were in Phase 2, but the rates did come down while we were in Phase 2. Now, we know that Phase 3, we went to open up, and then the cases went up. So that would, if we were in a binary situation, yes, did it work, no, did it not work, we would be, no, it did not work. So that means that you would go in a logical progression, you would go back to Phase 2. Well, problem is nobody wants to go back to Phase 2 because businesses were failing and in trouble. So we're kind of bumbling through a human experiment, and we are the test subjects, the people that live in Washington state.
Right. It sounds like what the governor is banking on is that vaccinations will continue to rise, that more people will become vaccinated, and that the trajectory will trend downward.
That's a nice idea. I like that idea. I don't see it. I look at the numbers every day, and we're not seeing that happening. The disease is still spreading, and largely that is because we only have part of the population vaccinated by older age, and we're only really well vaccinated in a couple counties. The east side of the mountains, not so much. And there's a big potential for outbreaks in eastern Washington, but we've also got rising rates in western Washington. And a lot of that has been driven by 20 to 34-year-olds. I know you've heard me say that before. I will continue to say that because that's what the data supports.
Yeah. King County's public health officer is kind of agreeing with you, Judith. He said he's worried about getting into a prolonged game of back and forth with mitigation measures. He's comparing it to whack-a-mole. I wonder if it really is time to rethink this idea of phases.
What goes with the phases and what's the big difference between phase 2 and phase 3 is the sheer numbers allowed to gather of unvaccinated persons in phase 3. I think that is a big mistake. Going from 6 unvaccinated, unrelated persons can gather in a bar or restaurant to 10 is a magnitude of 2. And when you have an exponential potential for acceleration of disease transmission, 10 people, 10 bars, it can go so quickly.
Are you talking about these 10 people as if they're unvaccinated?
Yes.
What if 5 of them are vaccinated? I mean, I know this is splitting hairs, but I'm just trying to figure out the happy medium here,
Well, we're not at any happy medium. We're just talking numbers. So I would modify phase 3 and go to 5 people unvaccinated outdoors, but not 5 people unvaccinated gathering together unmasked indoors. That's just a dumb idea. And I think we can all agree it's a dumb idea.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. Judith, because, vaccination rates have slowed. The early adopters are done. We're pulling people in more slowly than we were just even a week ago. Maybe an incentive is in order, and I've been thinking a little bit about Michigan and what it's doing, tying vaccination rates to reopening. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yes. Yes, it would. And then also incentives, pop-ups, hiring a really good PR team to reach people who do not read the newspaper, don't listen to NPR. The ways that go to the public health websites to see what they're supposed to do, or the CDC websites, the general public does not even do that. And general public, they're too busy.
Young people love incentives, right? Everybody loves an incentive. And I wonder if these ideas about vaxxed seating sections at stadiums, special areas for people who have been vaccinated might create a little bit of FOMO for people.
It might. We are going to be allowing, I think it's in the works with the CDC that people can go on cruise ships if they're vaccinated. I don't know how much of the population is going to be motivated to get vaccinated so they can go on a cruise. I think that it's simpler than that. I think a Starbucks card for $10. Some places they're paying people, if you work for a business, they're going to pay you $100 to get vaccinated. I think it's a soft barrier with vaccine hesitancy, and I think if we just make it convenient, but it is going to take time. Clearly, it's not going to go as fast as it did. You have to be sensible and try and motivate people as best you can. The carrot usually is better than the stick.
You know what might help, Judith? Colleges and universities are requiring their students to get vaccinated. And we just heard that 12 to 15-year-olds could soon be vaccinated as well. That should have a significant impact.
And we'll be looking for that. I'm just not seeing it yet because I'm looking at statewide data. I'm not looking at county by county. If we had herd immunity, we wouldn't be seeing an increase.
Is herd immunity just a pipe dream now at this point?
It's not a pipe dream. I will not give up on herd immunity. We achieved it for measles. We achieved it for polio. Remember FDR? He got polio as an adult. So we don't have that happening anymore. It's not going to happen overnight. We can definitely do this. It's just getting our stuff together and realizing that I know for businesses, this is probably just making them completely crazy.
This is reminding me, Judith, people are really looking forward to the summer. Are you hopeful the summer could be somewhat normal?
Okay, so if we're using the 2 vaccination shots, Moderna or Pfizer, so you get your vaccination today, it's May 4th. In 3 weeks, you get your second vaccination. That would be May 25th. 3 weeks after that, in June, you would be fully vaccinated. So if everybody went and got vaccinated today, we could have something on July 4th. If everybody went and got vaccinated today.
You heard it here, man. Judith Malmgren's prescription for a 4th of July barbecue.
We have vaccine available. There's no reason why people can't go get vaccinated.
So really what you're saying is we just all need to get vaccinated right now. There's only one way to get to where we need to be, and that is through vaccines.
Yeah, vaccinations, and then we're going to still have to wear masks when we're indoors. And don't gather with a bunch of people. Don't have 19 vaccinated people over for a party. That's too many. We're still going to have small gatherings. We can't have big gatherings where people are close together.
Well, Judith, I am definitely looking forward to being fully vaccinated. You'll appreciate this. I feel like a little bit of hot garbage right now because I got my second dose at Costco Shoreline yesterday.
Hey, I applaud you. Did you get a hot dog?
No, but I thought about you. I did pick up a few things.
Yeah. I mean, if we gave out free hot dogs in the Tri-Cities area at the Costco that had the big outbreak, I definitely think there are a lot of people whose vaccine hesitancy would be out the window the minute they saw the free hot dog. Fine, give me a shot. I get a free hot dog. Okay.
Judith Malmgren, epidemiologist at the University of Washington. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Patricia.
Before we go, this week is the annual Give Big fundraiser to benefit all the nonprofits doing great work in Washington. And we hope you'll include KUOW on your list of organizations you support. Just use the link in our bio and become a monthly Evergreen member. And thanks for making this podcast and all the KUOW you enjoy available for everyone in the community. Seattle Now is produced by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Clare McGrane, and Jason Pagano. Matt Jorgensen does our music. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you tomorrow.